And I had a few years where I was involved in some other volunteer work and didn't get back to volunteer at CREB till about, I think it was 2016. And then was on the board of directors. And that really helped me understand how CREB worked. And I think it was flattering to be able to be part of the group that made some of the policies and
Yeah.
some of the changes. And I really did enjoy that.
Hi there. Welcome to another episode of CREB Cast. I'm your host, Sam Randhawa. Today, I am really lucky to be joined with my really good friend and former longtime member of CREB, Lorna Hamm. Thank you for joining us today, Lorna. I know you're busy in your retirement life, so it means a lot that we've got you here today.
Well, it's my pleasure, Sam. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've known you for pretty much your whole career. I've only been here for 32 years, and I know you retired. How long were you in the business for?
38 years
Wow.
and a little bit.
Yeah, I bet you've seen a lot.
I think I have.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of changes.
But did you enjoy your occupation as a realtor?
I did, Sam. Yes. I think being a realtor allows you to have flexibility in your life. And that's probably not what a lot of realtors are thinking because so often their time is invaded by their clients and
That's true.
they have to be places and they have to skip a party because they're
Yeah.
presenting an offer. But I think with the technology that we have now, I think realtors are able to manage their time and their social life and their family life a lot
Yeah.
better.
I was just speaking with a realtor that was in this morning from Manitoba. And so he holds his license both in Manitoba and Calgary here. And he mentioned the same thing. He said, well, because of the technology, I don't have to be in both places at the same time. I can do deals in Manitoba while sitting in Calgary. So we definitely have come a long way as far as technology is concerned.
We definitely have. Yeah.
Yeah. You obviously must have made the occupation seem glamorous because your daughter went on to become a realtor.
Yes, I'm very fortunate how my daughter has followed in my footsteps,
Yeah.
both in the volunteer part of the world as well as her occupation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. How did being a volunteer at CREB help you in your career, help you in meeting people? And I just want to mention to the folks that are watching that may not know is that your last stint before you retired was you were the chair of the board of directors for 2 years.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I volunteered early on in my career, and I enjoyed getting to meet realtors from other companies and being a part of what went on at CREB. And then I had a few years where I was involved in some other volunteer work and didn't get back to volunteer at CREB till about, I think it was 2016. And then was on the board of directors. And that really helped me understand how CREB worked. And I think it was flattering to be able to be part of the group that made some of the policies and some of the changes. And I really did enjoy that, being in on the inside.
Yeah.
And have displayed that or have recommended that to other realtors that, get involved.
Yes.
It really does enhance your career.
It really does because it really shows you how the decisions are made. And you can also be part of the conversation and, be part of the process as opposed to coming in later and just being told this is what you're going to do. You can be proud that I was part of formatting all of those things.
Yeah, it comes down to communication.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
just knowing what's going on.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that know you. You just have to mention Lorna. You don't even have to put a last name in there. And I think that it is from your being involved in the volunteer side of things. So we thank you for your participation.
Well, thank you.
Would you recommend a career in real estate if somebody was kind of on the fence? Would you, in this day and age?
I think I would probably give them both sides. It was told to me when I was first interviewed, before I decided to become a realtor, that real estate is not a job, it's a way of life.
Yeah.
And how many times I've thought of that over the years is amazing. Because it's not, you wake up in the morning and you've got something going on, and you might be able to do, your grocery shopping or a doctor's appointment. And then, you're working at 7 o'clock at night sometimes. And that worked for me. I'm the kind of person that likes to be busy all day long.
Right.
And the fact that, I could control that and I could still do the things I wanted to do, pick up a grandchild at 3 o'clock,
Yes.
present an offer at 6.
Yeah.
That worked for me.
Play
But that's not
golf.
for everyone. Yeah, play golf every Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work for everyone.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I think you have to explain that. And I think until you are in the business, it's really hard to judge whether that would work for
Yeah.
you or not. Some people are self-motivators. They get out of bed every morning at 6 o'clock, and others like to sleep till noon.
Yeah.
So again, that is a factor that they need to consider.
Yeah. So you would say it really depends on the individual.
It really does.
Like for myself, I need structure.
Yeah.
I need to know I have to be at the office at 8:30. I'm going to leave at 5, and that's what I like. I don't think that I could be like you, where you were on call 24/7, and you had to leave in the middle of a barbecue or
Yeah.
a family event and be like, especially in the early days when you're trying to establish yourself.
Yes, and before we had that technology where
Exactly.
we could, I've seen my daughter close a deal on her phone, from Banff,
Right.
and nobody even knows that she's not in Calgary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now technology
Yeah.
has grown in leaps and bounds, some in good ways and some in not so good ways, but it really depends on the person, the user, actually.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't even have cell phones or fax machines when
Yeah.
I was licensed
Right.
in 1987.
Right. Yeah. It feels like, I mean, it was only 1987, but it feels like the olden days, right? Like
It
we lived in the
does.
dark ages or something like that.
As far as technology is concerned, it does,
Exactly.
yeah.
We were talking about doing a deal at 7 o'clock at night or whatever the case may be. I'm sure that you've made a lot of friends over the years that were clients that have now become really good friends.
Yes,
Yeah.
a few that were I
Yeah.
didn't know at all that became friends.
Yeah.
But I also was fortunate to do business with a lot of people who were already my friends.
Right. Yeah. That's the best
So-
part about this industry. Not that I'm a realtor myself, but I find that it's not just a one and done deal. You're going to remain friends with them and have a relationship with them. And you may even be working with them generationally as far as selling is
Oh, yes.
concerned, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen that many times
That's
from
fantastic.
clients to their children to their grandchildren.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, Lorna, I want to touch on something that I know you worked on prior to coming into real estate, but it's still something that's very important to our city. And I want to know how it came about and what the purpose of it was and all of those things. And I'm talking about the Children's Cottage. And I would like to know how you became involved in that because it's a great organization.
Well, the Children's Cottage is near and dear to my heart, as most people know. Before I became a realtor, I spent 5 years with an agency called Parents Anonymous, and I was their managing director. And we had a board of directors, and a lady from New York City had arrived. Her name was Dr. Sandra Riley, and her job was to be the dean of the Faculty of Nursing of the graduate program. And the university required that she do volunteer work. So she chose Parents Anonymous to be on our board. Well, we were just delighted to have somebody of her caliber on our board. Well, she had just left New York, where they had opened a crisis nursery just shortly before she left. So she had worked on this for many years, and it was the first crisis nursery in New York. So she mentioned it to our board of directors that she felt that Calgary could probably use one as well. So the board, she and I and some of the other board members, worked on a proposal for a couple of years. And I had pretty good contacts in the city. I had an architect. In fact, it was the architect whose daughter designed this building,
Oh,
Ken
my.
Hutchison.
Oh, wow.
He volunteered his time and some of the other architects in his firm. And I knew a lawyer, and he was on our board. And so we had all the parts in place and all the people in place. And we worked on this, and it was accepted. And we opened with a little tiny house over in Shaganappi, really close to the old children's hospital.
Okay.
So fast forward, we opened in 1986. In 1987, I left and went into real estate. And I started working with an older gentleman by the name of Bob Ward. And Sam might remember him.
I do. He used
Yeah.
to be our Father Christmas.
Yes.
Santa Claus.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was. And he became the chair of the Calgary Home Builders Foundation.
Wow.
So he came into my office one day and he said, "Can you think of a shelter charity that our group might be able to fund?" He said, "Can I?" So that was the beginning of the big building that's still over in Bridgeland.
Wow.
It was built in the early 90s
Yeah.
and funded by the Calgary Home Builders Foundation. So they were there for many years up till a year and a half ago, where they moved to a huge facility in Bowness. It's right across from the Safeway. If you're driving that way, it's a very colorful building,
Nice.
and that's where they are now located.
Right.
And at this point, they are renting out the Bridgeland property,
Oh, okay.
and they think as the city grows, they will be able to take it back and have a children's cottage,
Right.
both in Bridgeland and in Bowness.
Can you explain to me what the purpose is
Oh,
for the
of
children's
course.
cottage?
The Children's Cottage is a safe place for children for up to 72 hours whose parents are in crisis and feel that their children could be abused or neglected due to the crisis in their life. So the Children's Cottage takes that child and looks after them for
Wow.
up to 72 hours while the parents sort out.
Wow.
I suspect that there's some that stay longer and
I
some
would
that stay
imagine.
less time.
Yeah. Can a person just call the children's cottage?
Absolutely.
And say, I'm in a crisis. I need you to take my child right
Yes,
now.
absolutely.
And
they
how
can.
old, like,
I
when
think it's up to about 8 or 9 years old.
8 or 9 years old?
That could
Okay.
have changed. Yeah.
What a great resource to have. I'm so proud to know that you were intricate in building this place. Not building it, but building
Yeah.
the reputation that
Yes.
it has today. It fills my heart with pride to know that I know you.
Thank
You've
you.
done such valuable things. How's retirement?
Well, retirement's been interesting. As you probably know, I'm someone who likes to be busy. and
Yeah.
I somehow find myself on the executive of our golf club for the ladies program. and
Right.
I am chairing a luncheon for 420 women.
Wow.
The money's going to be going to the Children's Hospital as well as to a charity called Families Matter.
Oh, really?
And it's a wonderful organization that supports families in crisis. And they have a really good part of their program for fathers. And it just touched my heart when I heard the stories.
That is really fantastic. Obviously, it's a subject that's close to your heart. And I'm glad that you can do this in retirement because I'm
yes.
sure your husband, Len, is not retired yet.
No, he's not.
And he's probably not even talking about it.
No, I send him to work every day and tell him to come back at happy hour.
You know what? That is the way that's why you guys have such a great marriage and you've been married for so long. Remind me how long it's been.
58 years.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
And I've seen you guys together and you have great respect for each other. It's probably because you get rid of him every day and then he comes back
Exactly.
at happy hour, right? So that's perfect. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. In your real estate career, do you remember a situation where there was a memorable client, whether it was good, bad, or otherwise, or something funny that happened that you can recall?
Well, I think most realtors, could have a book of stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the things that happened. But, I remember selling a house in 5 minutes with no conditions
Oh, wow.
because the client's present girlfriend was pushing him. And he had been dangling his feet. And when he realized he was going to lose the house and her, that was pretty interesting.
5 minutes for a deal.
Thank goodness we had, I had an assistant who was
Wow.
doing the paperwork as we were speaking. That was pretty entertaining.
That is fantastic.
That was a one of a lifetime.
Yeah, you'll never forget
Some
that.
funny things getting
Yeah.
locked out of houses and having to crawl through garbage chutes and
No, really.
earlier on, of
Oh
course.
my goodness.
Back in my 40s when I was still limber.
I don't even know if I would be doing that in my 40s. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate you coming in. I hope that you periodically will come in and sit down with us if you're doing anything more like with the crisis organizations and you wanted to bring it to the awareness of our members and to the public if you want to ever sit down again and come in and chat with us because I miss you. I saw you on a regular basis for 32 years and then all of a sudden you retired and you were nowhere to be found.
Oh, I'll have to come and hang out here.
Maybe I'll have to
Come for
take you
coffee.
as my +1
Yeah, there you
to
go.
a couple of places, right? Len might be a little bit worried about
Oh.
that, but that's okay.
I don't think you
Yeah.
can.
Well, I want to thank you, Lorna, for coming in. And I want to thank you guys for watching.